The courtroom pulsed with tension before a word was spoken. Rashida strode in, flanked by her legal team, head lifted high, a crimson folder clutched like a weapon. The air was thick, humming with whispers, eyes darting from one corner to the next. Cameras weren't permitted, but that never stopped gossip from finding its way through locked doors. The silence broke not with a gavel, but with the staccato rhythm of heels striking the hallway floor. Each step ricocheted like a shot fired in warning. Jasmine. She wasn't listed. She wasn't invited. Yet she appeared, cool, deliberate, with something clenched in her hand that promised to fracture the entire proceeding before the judge could even speak. Rashida turned her head, expression still as marble. Kirk froze mid-breath. Jasmine's smile cut through the tension. Then, with 5 words, she detonated the room. This divorce ain't the end. The next chapter wasn't about reconciliation. It wasn't about healing. It was war. The stillness that followed was suffocating. The kind of silence that clings to skin like heat in a blackout. Even the buzzing fluorescent lights seemed to bow beneath it. Rashida sat tall at the left bench, nails immaculate, her aura calm yet razor-sharp. Beside her, Tasha Duval, the powerhouse lawyer who froze Kirk's secret assets weeks earlier, whispered strategy. Rashida never fidgeted, never blinked. Kirk looked hollow, eyes shadowed from sleepless nights. Rumors had already hinted at another hidden account discovered just days earlier, and panic had bled through his posture. His lawyer, Victor Malone, sat beside him in an expensive suit that couldn't disguise the tremor in his shoulders. This wasn't only a divorce, it was brand warfare, legacy on trial, power dangling on a knife's edge. Then the doors flew open again. Click, clack, click, clack. Heads turned. Jasmine Washington entered, commanding every eye. Burgundy power dress hugging her form, hair perfectly laid, gloss shimmering under dim lights. She walked as though stepping straight out of a reunion taping. But it wasn't the outfit that stilled the room. It was the sealed vanilla envelope in her hand, stamped confidential. Tasha leaned close to Rashida, murmuring. Rashida's eyes never moved, fixed like steel. Kirk sat straighter, his ears dripping sweat. The judge cleared his throat. Ma'am, you're not on the docket. Please. Jasmine raised one finger. With respect, Your Honor, this directly impacts today's proceedings. The judge frowned. And you are? Her lips curved. Jasmine Washington, mother of Kirk Frost's child. I have documents proving this divorce isn't what it seems. The air shifted violently. A gasp escaped the gallery. A clerk dropped a pen. Kirk lurched forward, voice breaking. Jasmine, what are you doing? Her reply was ice. What I should have done years ago. The judge gestured her forward. Jasmine strutted down the aisle, heels echoing like gunfire, and placed the envelope on the bench. Slowly, the judge tore the seal, his expression a blank canvas. Each page, he turned furrowed his brow deeper. Silence sliced through the room like a scalpel. Rashida's fingers twitched once. Kirk shifted in his seat. Finally, the judge looked up. Mr. Frost, would you like to explain these transactions? Victor fumbled for his notes, scrambling. Kirk blinked, lost. Your Honor, I don't know what's in there. Jasmine pivoted, her tone lethal. His signatures. Dated 2 years ago. $4,500 monthly routed through a dummy LLC marked client consultations. The judge's tone sharpened. And the child. Jasmine nodded firmly. 3 years old. Not mine, but he hid it from Rashida. The room imploded into stunned disbelief. Rashida's expression didn't waver. Only her chest rose, one slow inhale, neither rage nor panic, but something colder. Tasha leaned in. 5-minute recess. The judge, shaken, granted it. The courtroom erupted as people spilled into the hallway. Outside, paparazzi and VH1 producers swarmed like vultures. Cameras flashed, questions flew like arrows. Jasmine, did you just accuse Kirk of hiding a third child? Is this for Rashida or against her? Is this child tied to the Frost brand? Jasmine stopped mid-step, turned to the frenzy. Her voice rang clear. I'm not here for clout. I'm here for truth. Rashida deserves to know the man she married. Then she walked away, composed, as if she'd just dropped a bomb. Because she had. Inside a private room, Rashida exhaled, not defeat, but confirmation. I knew it, she whispered.
Tasha nodded.
We've tracked that LLC for 6 months. Proof of the child was missing until now. Rashida sat straighter, jaw sharp. Now we have it. Now we go for the jugular. Elsewhere, Kirk spiraled. He slammed his fist against the table, face crimson. She's lying. Jasmine's been after me forever. Victor wiped sweat from his temple, voice breaking. They've got statements, transfers. If the child's confirmed, that's fraud, concealment, child support. Your entire settlement is in jeopardy. Kirk paced, chest heaving. I had this handled. I paid everyone. Victor snapped. Clearly, someone didn't stay bought. Meanwhile, Rashida stood, phone in hand, her calm more dangerous than Kirk's rage. Mom? Yeah, it happened. Separate the ATL accounts today. Pull my image rights from every co-branded deal. And tell Mona, if Kirk's name appears in next season's promo, I walk. She hung up. The storm had arrived, and Rashida wasn't standing under an umbrella anymore. She was the lightning now. The courthouse air shifted instantly, charged with a different kind of energy. What should have been a simple divorce proceeding had twisted into something darker, louder, and infinitely more dangerous. And at the center of the chaos, Jasmine. She wasn't even supposed to be here, yet somehow she had become the nucleus, pulling every stare, every whisper, every headline toward her. As people shuffled back into the courtroom, the murmurs spread like smoke across the gallery. Even the court reporter, trained to remain detached, couldn't resist glancing over at Jasmine, now seated in the back row, legs crossed, serene as if she hadn't just detonated a truth bomb that rattled the foundation of the Frost marriage. Rashida, still poised and collected, looked the same at first glance. But if you watched closely, you could see it in her eyes. Something had shifted. She wasn't here to preserve a marriage. She was here to burn it down, then salt the ashes so nothing could ever grow again. The judge returned, robe trailing, face stern, tapping the bench with his gavel. Let's resume. Tasha Duval rose immediately, her voice steady. Your Honor, based on the newly entered evidence, verified copies now in our possession, we request an emergency hearing to modify divorce terms. Specifically, a full freeze on all joint property tied to the Frost estate and a complete audit of all financial activity for the past 3 years. Victor Malone scrambled to his feet, voice cracking. Objection, Your Honor. This material was entered without proper notice. We request time for review. The judge cut him off with a raised hand. Mr. Malone, your client had every opportunity to disclose. This is the second undeclared account, and now a potential paternity claim directly impacting distribution. Your objection is noted and overruled.
Boom.
Rashida leaned back, crossed her legs, and aimed a look at Kirk that said one thing. Try me again. Kirk looked as though 10 years had been carved into his face in 5 minutes. But Jasmine wasn't finished. The judge adjusted his glasses. Is Ms. Washington still present? Tasha stood. Yes, Your Honor. With permission, we'd like to call her to the stand. Victor erupted. This is outrageous. She is not a party to this divorce. Tasha snapped back like a whip. She is central to the hidden financial streams, and we have reason to believe she knows more. Silence. Then the judge nodded. Proceed. Jasmine rose.
Click, clack, click, clack.
She walked slowly, deliberately, carrying the kind of confidence only a woman with secrets can wear. Sworn in, she folded her hands, spine straight, gaze locked forward. Tasha began. Ms. Washington, earlier you testified you discovered payments routed to a third party through an LLC. Was Mr. Frost aware those payments were traceable? Jasmine smirked. He never thought I'd say anything. Why speak now? Jasmine turned to Rashida, then back to the judge. because I watched what he did to her, and I realized I was next. Gasps cut through the air. You mentioned a child. Is this child Kirk Frost's? Jasmine didn't hesitate.
Yes.
And he's known since the day the baby was born. The room shook. Do you have proof? She nodded, calmly lifting her phone. Voice notes. His own words. Chaos rippled as the gallery gasped again. Even the judge looked rattled. Victor objected furiously, but the damage was irreversible. Jasmine pressed on. He begged me to keep it quiet. Said if Rashida found out, she'd take everything. Well, guess what? She deserves everything. Rashida remained stone-faced, but her hand gripped the table like steel. Outside, the chaos was spilling onto social media. The moment the leaked voice note slipped online, thanks to a rogue assistant in the hallway, the hashtags exploded. Hashtag Kirkfrost exposed. Hashtag Justice for Rashida. Hashtag Jasmine was right. Hashtag Divorce Diaries. Fans circulated screenshots, quotes, memes of Kirk sweating under courtroom lights. VH1 editors were already teasing the next episode. Coming up on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Rashida discovers the truth that changes everything. But inside, stakes had climbed higher. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore, it was about freedom. The financial trails Jasmine exposed hinted at tax fraud, dummy LLCs, undisclosed payouts. If Kirk claimed them under false pretenses, that wasn't just divorce fodder. That was federal. That was prison. Tasha opened another folder, voice cutting through the storm. Your Honor, we now submit an IRS flag report. These funds were undeclared. Victor leapt up. We need time to respond. The gavel slammed. Court adjourned until next week. Mr. Frost, you are ordered not to move, conceal, or transfer any assets under penalty of law. Kirk's jaw dropped. Jasmine rose, collected her bag, and walked out without a backward glance. In the hallway, reporters swarmed Rashida. Do you feel vindicated? Are you angry at Jasmine? Rashida's voice was calm, sharp. I feel free. And no, I'm angry I didn't believe her sooner. What happens now? Rashida turned straight into the camera lens. Now, I take my life back. And everything he's been hiding gets dragged into the light. She walked away. But at the courthouse steps, another woman lingered, texting, smiling, watching it unfold. The whispers turned into tweets, tweets into threads, threads into full-blown conspiracies. And as Rashida stepped down into the swarm of flashes, the storm had only just begun. Because another woman was waiting. Not a cast member, not a stylist, not a familiar ex. But as she approached Kirk, Rashida froze. The woman's face was too familiar. Excuse me, Mr. Frost, she said, clutching a white envelope. Kirk turned, praying she was just a fan. She wasn't. I didn't know where to send this. So, I brought it to you myself. She dropped the envelope at his feet, then walked away. Dead silence swallowed the steps. Cameras zoomed in. Kirk bent down, opened it, then recoiled. Inside was a DNA test, dated,
Signed.
with his name printed clear. And the storm thundered louder. The name of a 4-year-old boy. Rasheeda leaned over Kirk's shoulder, her jaw tightening like steel. Another one. Another secret. Another betrayal. Kirk didn't answer. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. He just stared at the paper, frozen. Rasheeda yanked it from his hands and scanned it herself. Her lips parted, then curved into a bitter laugh that wasn't laughter at all. Jan, standing too close, scoffed. You were flying out to see this baby while telling me you were on business trips?
Oh.
The gallery gasped. Reporters swarmed like sharks smelling blood, cameras flashing, mics shoved into every direction. Jasmine, just a few feet away, whispered to her cousin with a shake of her head, Told you he wasn't done lying. Kirk tried to steady himself. That's not what it looks like. Rashida cut him down with one line, sharp enough to slice marble. Save it. This man would lie on a napkin if it meant keeping control. The new woman was no longer a mystery. She had a name, a city, a story, and she wasn't hiding. Maya Lynette, from Charlotte, posted to her Instagram story within minutes. "I told y'all I was tired of being quiet. DNA don't lie. My son deserves to know his father, and apparently, he ain't the only one." The hashtag Kirk Frost has 4 detonated across the internet in less than 30 minutes. Back inside, Rasheeda's legal team scrambled. Emergency filings, paperwork flying. If this wasn't just adultery but a pattern of long-term deception, then every new child meant recalculations, money, custody, assets, lies stacked on lies. The judge, reportedly reviewing the fresh bombshell later that night, turned to his clerk and muttered, "This man might have just sunk his own ship." Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, VH1 production vans circled the block like vultures smelling fresh meat. A producer begged Maya to sign release forms on the spot. Word spread that even Mona Scott Young herself was dialing producers saying, "If she signs that waiver, it's a wrap for Kirk." But Rashida wasn't just crumbling. She was calculating. That evening, she posted a video to her Instagram, her voice measured, her eyes steady, her hair styled for war. "I stayed silent for years, protected people who didn't deserve my peace. But now I'm done protecting. I'm building my empire without the lies." Behind her, a stylist adjusted the lights for a new photo shoot. The caption? "New Rashida. New era. No Kirk." Her fans devoured it. The Shade Room reposted in seconds. Hollywood unlocked. TSR teens. Baller alert. The machine was in motion. But the internet broke when Candy Burris joined the fire. On Instagram Live, her tone cut deep. "Listen, I don't usually step in people's relationships, but I told Rashida years ago this man was shady. I saw some things back then that didn't sit right with me. And all I'll say is this: you reap what you sow." Seconds later, Tiny Harris slid into the chat. "Girl. And this ain't even half of it." Fans went feral. Rumors ignited. Magic City. 3 nights prior. Another woman. Neither Jasmine, nor Rashida, nor Maya. Screenshots dropped. Blurry but damning. A $2,800 receipt. Bottle service stamped with Frost Incorporated. A tagged girl, handle @Chanila1 posted. "He said I was the only one who knew his real stress. Boy, please." That's when Rashida did the unthinkable. Not a rant. Not a subtweet. A press conference. In a rented conference room, cameras flashing, microphones lined up, she stood at a podium between her lawyer and her publicist. It was her Beyoncé Lemonade moment, but raw, unfiltered, and live. "I stayed because I believed in growth. I stayed because I thought loyalty mattered. I stayed because I didn't want my kids to see another failed Black family. But I'm not staying anymore. This marriage isn't just over, it's being dismantled. Piece by piece. Lie by lie. Woman by woman."
She paused.
Looked dead into the cameras. "And for the record, I don't hate the women who came forward. I thank them, because they gave me the final push I needed to let this man go. I'll never look back." The room erupted. Kirk?
Silent. Absent.
Hiding. 2 days passed before he emerged, with the weakest move of all. A Notes app apology. "I never claimed to be perfect. I made mistakes, but I never meant to hurt the mother of my children. I ask for privacy as we navigate this difficult time." The comments? Brutal. "You weren't asking for privacy at Magic City, bro. Not the Notes app again. This is your 87th mistake. How many kids you got in your basement?" But Jasmine wasn't finished. Maya's DNA test was just Act 1. Jasmine dropped Act 2, a full audio recording of Kirk's voice. "I never loved Rashida the same after season 6. I only stayed for the image. I regretted letting her run the brand. I always had a backup plan if she ever left." Then laughter. Cold. "She thinks she got power, but I'm the one with the money. Too bad that money was frozen. Too bad that clip was now evidence." By the time Rashida's lawyer downloaded the file, the blogs hadn't even finished posting it. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't even tweet. She called her lawyers. She called her accountants. She called the war room. Because this wasn't just gossip anymore. This was legal ammo.
Fraud.
Image manipulation. Financial deception. At the next court motion, the judge raised his brow. He said, "What?" The clerk read it aloud. He stayed for image. He didn't love her. He had backup plans. The room froze. The judge leaned forward, eyes locked on Kirk. "Mr. Frost, do you deny making these statements?" Kirk opened his mouth, closed it.
Cooked.
The conversation had shifted. This wasn't about adultery anymore. It wasn't about love. It was about fraud.
Control.
And the empire Kirk thought was a slipping piece by piece into Rashida's hands. And Rashida was ready to take it all the way. By the next morning, she amended her divorce petition once more, this time demanding full control of the brand, every household asset, and retroactive spousal compensation. Her claim was cutting. "If you used me to build your empire, then I want my back pay." The courtroom air turned electric when Jasmine herself appeared. The same Jasmine who once fractured Rashida's world now stood beside her. When the judge asked why, Jasmine's voice cracked but carried weight. "Because I'm tired of being used to." Gasps rippled. Even Rashida blinked at the shock. But Jasmine pressed forward. "He played us all. I was 23 when I met him. He swore he was leaving her. He never did. When I got pregnant, he begged for silence. Told me the truth would destroy the brand. But that brand doesn't belong to Kirk. It belongs to the woman who bled for it." Kirk's lawyers scrambled, grasping for ways to suppress the voice recording, dismiss Jasmine's testimony, even paint Rashida as weaponizing drama. But her attorney sliced through it with a single line. Kirk Frost ruined his own reputation when he turned marriage into PR. The judge agreed. The voice note stayed. Jasmine's affidavit was accepted. An exhaustive audit of Frost Enterprises was ordered to trace every dollar tied to Rashida's name. Outside, the streets raged. Memes exploded. Kirk in a diaper bag captioned another one calling him daddy. Clips of his recycled apologies over the years stitched together with a brutal caption. "You can't spell consistency without Kirk." Even VH1 leaned in, teasing next time on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and fans braced for carnage. Yet Rashida wasn't saving her biggest card for television. She made her move in real life. She pulled the plug on Frost Bistro, the restaurant Kirk clung to as his pride.
Why?
Because buried financials showed it was built under Rashida's credit, her name. That meant the business was hers to freeze, sell, or repurpose. And she chose closure. "I'm turning it into a boutique," she announced on Instagram Live. New clothes, new vibe, no mess attached. The internet roared. Not the Frost Bistro becoming Rashida Retail. Rename it Divorce Diner and serve heartbreak iced out on a platter.
Support poured in.
Even Toya Johnson reposted. "Play with Rashida if you want. She's playing chess." Meanwhile, Kirk scrambled for damage control. He sat on a low-budget podcast. Bad lighting, glitchy mic, desperation painted across his face. "I made mistakes, but that doesn't mean I should lose everything I built. I was part of that journey too." But the internet clipped one line. Jasmine shouldn't have leaked that, and turned it viral.
Bro, the truth came out.
Back in court, the audit cut deep. Signatures forged on 3 business documents. Bank transfers without Rashida's knowledge. And the studio property Kirk swore he rented? Registered in Jasmine's name, receipts, photos, location tags. The walls closed in. Kirk snapped. Stormed out of court. Screamed at producers. Tried snatching a cameraman's rig. Security dragged him away. Rashida never flinched. She walked out calm, posed with her team, and posted the image. You can lie for years, but truth shows up in court, in recordings, in your own voice. "I don't need revenge. I have receipts." Jasmine liked it instantly. Commented, "And the truth looks good on you." Then came Carly Red. A teaser on her story, mic in frame, her voice steady. "Since everyone's exposing Kirk, I guess it's my turn. This Friday, 8 p.m. live." Fans froze. Wait, Carly too? No way this man has that many women. Memes birthed overnight. Kirk's kids, coming to VH1. By Friday, the internet was locked in countdown. And when the clock hit 8, Carly went live. No glam, No filter, just raw truth. Her eyes bloodshot, voice heavy. Do you ever keep a secret so long it rots you inside? Viewers flooded in by the tens of thousands. Girl, spill it. If you say Kirk, Rashida is watching this. Carly unlocked an iPad, tapped in the code, and played the file. Audio bled through. Her voice, Kirk's laughter, the intimacy undeniable. And then his words, chilling and clear. You know I can't leave Rashida. Not with everything tied to her name. But this is my piece. Dead silence. Carly looked into the lens. I was quiet out of fear. I thought I was the side piece, but turns out I was just one of many. The live exploded. Even the Shade Room screen recorded it before it could disappear. Carly read and Kirk confirmed. And just like that, the courtroom erupted. Rashida wasn't even shocked. Not anymore. At this point, the man could have been sleeping with her hairstylist, and she wouldn't blink twice. But what Carly did next, that was shocking. She dropped a screenshot dated 2 years ago. A $6,500 payment from Frost Enterprises to AK Red Productions. Carly, he paid me to keep quiet. Said it was a consulting fee, but it was hush money. Now Rashida's legal team had proof of corporate funds being used for personal affairs, which means embezzlement and embezzlement. That's not just grounds for divorce. That's grounds for a criminal investigation. VH1 couldn't believe their luck. This wasn't just season material. This was network-shifting drama. Producers sent urgent emails. Cameras were rolling. New confessional schedules were made. Every cast member got a call. Be available. The story had just taken a turn. But behind the scenes, Kirk had vanished. His phone went straight to voicemail. Lawyers weren't responding. Even his barber posted, "Don't ask me nothing. I'm not involved." The last time he was seen publicly, he was slipping into an SUV outside Wells Fargo.
Sunglasses on.
Hoodie up, head down. And guess what? Rumors said he was trying to empty a personal safe deposit box. Too late. Rashida's lawyer had already frozen all known assets. Then came the final blow. A fourth woman posted a TikTok that went viral within hours. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. Imagine being told you were the only one, just to see him on TV crying over a wife he never stopped cheating on. The comments knew. Oh, we talking about Kirk Frost again, huh? Someone go get Rashida. She needs popcorn for this one. But then the woman who goes by at Miss Tiff Official posted a second video. This time she showed a baby. And in the background, a framed photo. Kirk holding the child. Tiff's voice cracked. He told me it was over with Rashida. That he was done with TV. That I was different. And the worst part, the baby looked just like Kirk. Rashida didn't even respond publicly. She didn't have to. The blogs were already doing it for her. Fourth baby mama? Kirk might be the future of Atlanta. Kirk Frost reaching Nick Cannon levels. At this point, it's genetics. Rashida's divorce just turned into a fraud investigation. And Tiff. She filed her own child support case the very next morning. That makes 4. Rashida. Jasmine.
Carly. Tiff.
Alleged miscarriages, confirmed babies, photo proof. Each story stacking like Jenga blocks, and everyone waiting for the tower to collapse. Now, let's talk about Rashida's next move. Because she wasn't sitting in a corner crying, no ma'am. She showed up to court the following week in a blazing red power suit, her mother at her side, and the new CEO of Press standing tall beside her. Yes, she replaced Kirk. This isn't just my divorce, she told the press outside. This is my declaration of independence. Cameras flashed. Fans screamed. And behind her, a banner with her new business slogan, Rashida, no lies, no limits, no man in the way. Carly showed up late, but hugged Rashida outside.
It should have never taken this long.
Rashida simply nodded. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just focused. Meanwhile, Kirk stayed silent. No response. No statement. But whispers circled. Sources said he was shopping for a tell-all interview on some low-tier podcast. And word on the street? He might try to blame it all on producers manipulating his image. Boy, if you don't. Regardless, this wasn't ending quietly. The judge just granted Rashida preliminary full ownership of all business ventures until the investigation concludes. She also gets exclusive rights to all assets created during the marriage, unless Kirk can prove they were funded independently. And with all these payments to mistresses leaking,
He can't prove a damn thing.
now fans are begging for Rashida to host a reunion. Not just of love and hip-hop, but of every woman Kirk ever betrayed. A truth table with mics, wine, and receipts. And the way this was going, VH1 just might do it. The final court date arrived like a season finale. Not a single camera allowed inside. But you could feel the electricity from blocks away. Outside the courthouse, crowds.
Fans.
Paparazzi. Bloggers. Even rival reality stars. It didn't feel like a divorce. It felt like a coronation. Rashida stepped out first, dressed in all white. Not wedding white. Victory white. Her walk was calm. Her hair flawless. Beside her, her lawyer, her mother, her business partner. Not a single tear in sight. Inside, Kirk finally showed up, but not with confidence.
His face sunken.
His voice cracked when he muttered, "Good morning." His suit didn't even look ironed. That man looked like regret wrapped in fabric. And then the judge spoke. After reviewing all presented evidence, testimonies, and financial records, this court is ready to render its decision. Everyone held their breath. The court grants the petitioner, Rasheeda Buckner Frost, full dissolution of the marriage and assigns sole ownership of Press Incorporated, all retail assets, and the Atlanta boutique to the petitioner.
Boom.
Gasps echoed. Furthermore, Mr. Frost is to pay retroactive spousal support and legal fees related to fraudulent concealment of marital assets. Rashida didn't flinch. Kirk's eyes turned bloodshot red. Lastly, this court reserves judgment regarding allegations of business embezzlement pending results of the ongoing investigation. Mr. Frost, you are not to liquidate, transfer, or access any joint account not cleared by the court.
Done.
Rashida had won everything. But the real moment came when the judge asked formally, "Ms. Buckner Frost, would you like to make a final statement for the record?" Rashida stood, cleared her throat. "Yes, Your Honor, I do." She turned to face Kirk, slowly, deliberately. "I believed in you. I built with you. I forgave you more than any woman should. But I won't be another woman who sacrifices herself in silence. This isn't revenge. This is restoration." Then she turned back to the bench. "Thank you. That's all. No clapback. No curse words. Just calm power. Boss energy." The court adjourned.
Papers signed.
But Rashida didn't leave quietly. She walked out the courthouse straight into a mini press conference waiting on the steps. Cameras swarmed. Questions erupted. "Rashida, do you have any message for Kirk?" She stopped mid-step, smiled with a softness that cut deeper than rage. "Yeah," she whispered. "Thank you for showing me what I deserved all along." And with that, she turned, walking away. No tears. No collapse. Just Rashida. That evening, a clip went viral. A new ad had dropped, cued and timed to perfection, set to release the moment her divorce finalized. The screen opened black. Text appeared. She lost a marriage.
Cut.
Rashida strutting through the empty pressed boutique like it was Paris Fashion Week. Caption, but gained a brand new logo. Then another, pressed.
Built by pain.
Powered by purpose. This wasn't just marketing. This was rebirth. And baby, the internet devoured a whole. This how you divorce and rebrand in the same breath. Beyonce had lemonade. Rashida got receipts. She pulled a Sierra prayer, but made it into a business blueprint. Celebrities stamped their approval. Tamar Braxton. That part, sis. Angela Simmons. Secure it all. Tiny Harris. You did that, girl. Just when fans thought the chapter had closed, Rashida posted one final Insta story. This chapter's done. But the book? Far from over. Meanwhile, Kirk went live the very next day. Fans expected fire. Denial. Excuses. They got none of that. He sat in dim light, hoodie up, eyes down. "I messed up," he muttered. "I lost the only woman who ever had my back. I can't fix it, but I won't deny it." 2 minutes later, the live ended. No music. No comments. Just silence. Kirk Frost, undone by his own shadow. But Rashida? She moved with lightning speed. Within 2 weeks, Pressed launched a divorce collection. The boutique went viral yet again. Then came the Bombshell, her book deal. The Frost That Broke Me. Next, VH1 greenlit a brand new spin-off featuring Jasmine and Carly Red. Enemies turned castmates. Frenemies turned cash cows. The press release spelled it out. 3 women. 1 messy man. $1 billion brand.
0 regrets.
Working title. Pressed reset. Twitter combusted. Jasmine, Rashida, and Carly? Kirk about to faint. This the revenge tour reality TV needed. Housewives could never. Rashida broke her silence with one final post. Forgiveness isn't silence. It's closure. And this series? It's me closing the chapter on my terms. The trailer hadn't even dropped, but pre-orders for merch, books, and tea were already selling out. Meanwhile, whispers circled Kirk. Rumor was he was scribbling a memoir called Frostbitten. But let's be honest, nobody's reading that. What mattered was clear. This wasn't just a breakup. This was a broadcast, a blueprint, a transformation. Rashida had proven it. When a woman finally puts herself first, no man, no betrayal, no bank account can stop her. This wasn't gossip. This was cinema. From Jasmine storming into that courtroom to Rashida reclaiming her crown, we had just witnessed one of the most iconic arcs in love and hip-hop history. And trust, this wasn't the end. Because Pressed Reset is coming. And just the trailer alone might break the internet. Jasmine's back. Carly's back. Rashida's got the last word. And we've got exclusives lined up that'll have you screaming at the screen. So don't just scroll in silence. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the next chapter is already in motion. And you know we'll be the first to spill it. Now tell us in the comments, was Jasmine messy for storming in? Or was she the unexpected hero of the saga? Let's argue. Let's get dramatic. Let's keep it pressed.